Marshmallow Fanboy back with another review, this time of G.I. Joe Classified Series, Zartan, Buzzer, Ripper, and Torch. The original 4 Dreadnoks, released between 1984 and 1985. These 4 were the foundation on which all the other Dreadnoks came from. In 1986, you get to Monkey Wrench, Xandar, Zorana, Thrasher with the Dreadnok Thunder Machine. In 1987, you get Zanzibar with the Dreadnok Air Skiff. 1988, you get Road Pig. In 1989, you get Naugahyde. I got that all from yojo.com. They are my source for everything. But I did remember the order that these guys came out. I remembered getting Zartan with the Chameleon Swamp Skier. He was a driver. And then the very next year, I remember Buzzer very clearly. And then I was lost on, it seemed like Ripper came out first and Torch came out second. And then I verified it on the website. I'm not sure if they came out in the same wave or not. Maybe that's all mute. That's all moot. And mute, that was weird. It could be that they came out in the same wave, but I definitely got Ripper first. And then I got Torch second. There's a ton of really classic detail in these figures that make them real similar to their 1984, 1985 counterparts. And I'm going to open them. I'm going to take a closer look at them. Zartan in his classic form. I don't remember if this was still a Walmart exclusive. I think it's a Walmart exclusive just because the card is all floppy and weird and kind of gross. And the later ones, of course, they fixed the card issue, but on this one the card is flimsy, so I think that's a Walmart exclusive. Buzzer and Ripper came out pretty close together. They were couple numbers away, 106 and 102, so 4 figures away from each other. These two came out, and then we had to wait a year or so for 123 for Torch to come out. He was worth the wait, though, man. They were really lavishing a lot of cool stuff on him. So, of course, Buzzer and Ripper came out when it was the plastic-free packaging phase. So, yeah, so there's a little dust on their boxes. I've had them for a while. Torch came out with Doc and... Oop, I bumped the camera. With Doc and someone else. I can't remember. Doc and Jinx. Sorry. You owe me a Coke. My bad. That wasn't even... I don't know if that translates. It's not really funny. Anywho, I ordered them on Amazon, and Amazon just stubbornly would not ship any of that stuff. So I switched over to GameStop, and everything was to be delivered, but the FedEx hub that it ended up with said they couldn't get into my building, so they sent all that stuff back. So I had to reorder it all on Amazon, and luckily Torch came pretty quickly after I reordered him on Amazon. Maybe that's the trick, is I have to cancel my stuff and then reorder them when they're available. But that's the saga of getting that stuff. So let's start with the package-free plastic, or the plastic-free packaging, rather. It's hard to say, man. I love the portraits, mostly because they changed little details in the background, like the placement of the cans and things, and maybe the placement of the bike and things, and maybe shot it from a different angle. But that's very obviously the very same diorama. And I wish they had translated that to the rest of the series. These two came out after the classic Zartan, I think. So that probably wouldn't have been possible. But it would have been cool if Torch had a little bit of oh my god. It's very close, but it doesn't have the drum set. But it has everything else. So maybe they kept the diorama from here, and they're like, well, let's put the cans in and maybe replace that with a bike. Maybe Torch looks cooler with a bike, and Ripper and Buzzer look cooler with a drum set. I love how they're sort of accentuating the back with the studs on the back and everything, and the propane tank or whatever that is on the back. I like that. He did come with a torch and a backpack when the original came out. Of course, on Buzzer, he came with the chainsaw and that chain thing, and the rest of these weren't included. It was a 3 3/4 inch figure, so it wasn't like there was a lot of space for that stuff back then. He did come with that blaster and that sort of jackhammery thing, but no pistol and knife back in 1985. Zartan came with the swamp skier, which would have been cool, even if they had packaged it maybe a little bit differently and added more money. I'd have been okay with that. It didn't come with a knife, but it absolutely came with a mask, came with an accessory pack, or like a backpack to put the accessories in, rather. Came with a little laser blaster, and the hood was on him already. You couldn't exchange the heads. What happened was it was kind of a overlay, and you would press that in, and then he would be in disguise. Now, he's probably... they probably explained that backpack is kind of a Mission Impossible kind of thing, where like a 3D print goes in, and then it does its magic, and it comes out, and it looks like whoever you want it to be. And then that's cool. And the multilingual file card, which I dislike, but you know, if it makes it cheaper, great. I don't know who they passed that, you know, savings on to. It's not us, but I guess just maybe to themselves. They high five. They're like, yes, we made it cheaper. Of course, with Torch, you can see that the packaging is a little thinner. You can see that it's a little taller here, but it doesn't have that lip. It has a smaller sort of tab for retail on top that you can deploy. I think things like the bat, the Cobra bat, and things like that had this. The plastic-free packaging is the only packaging that has this weird overhang, the lip that's over it. But these are cool. They got a lot of great details. They got a lot of stuff that's just really classic and really updated. And I like these guys in the package. Let's see how they did when we take the original 4 Dreadnoks out of their packages and take them for a spin. Okay, now that they're all out of the package, let's take a closer look at Zartan, Buzzer, Ripper, and Torch. I'm not going to go over their articulation. It's about what you would expect from G.I. Joe Classified, except they all have the ab crunch instead of a torso rocker. And there's nothing else special about the way that they move or anything. So let's go over it. Let's start with Zartan, because he was by far kind of the coolest to take out and play around with, mostly because that was my first Dreadnok figure when I was a kid. I don't think they, as I'm saying it, I'm trying to think about the file card, but I don't think he was ever referred to as a Dreadnok. And then suddenly he was a Dreadnok when the comic book came out and when the cartoon came out. But he has a knife right in here that I've sheathed, but he has a knife. It's very cool looking. It has notches in it. I'm not sure what the notches are supposed to signify, but they're on both sides. And I'll put that back. And the backpack comes apart just like the original, except the original kind of came apart in pieces like this. So the mask is meant to go here just like on the original, and the other one looks really electronic, like you could imagine that this thing sort of put a mask together for him. And of course that's the same way in here. You got, you know, the rivets, or not rivets, whatever that is colored a little bit differently. It's a really nice attention to detail. And I have him holding the mask, but the mask goes on really easy. You take off the cowl. I thought it was an extra head, but it is a mask. You just pop that on him, and you can put the hood back on him, and the hood gives him a lot of personality. But he also doesn't kind of lose the articulation of the head. So that goes on real easy. I just thought because this was a separate piece that the mask was actually a head, and it is not. So you just put that, not in that piece, but you put that in there, and then the mask is in there, and then you put that back together, and then boom, you could put it on his back. It's got the cool thing here where you can imagine that there's fluid or something running through the lines. It's just really cool accessory. me see, his hood is off. I'll leave it off. And he's got the ascot that you could take off if you take the head off. That's the same with a torch. If you take the head off, you can take the necklace off. On Ripper, if you take the head off, you take the necklace off. On Buzzer, if you take his head off, you're a jerk because there's nothing to put on around his neck. You're bloodthirsty savage. I'm just kidding, but there's got to be one of you who's a bloodthirsty savage. And to you I say, please don't hunt me down. Okay, this is a laser pistol, kind of reminiscent of the laser pistol he had when he first came out back in 1984. And of course, everything just looks really good on Zartan. The expression, that kind of sarcastic, self-important sort of grin that says he knows exactly what's going on and you don't. The texture of this, I like that the clear thing is gone. I think on the backpack there was a lot of places for other things, and I'm wondering, there was a Zartan deluxe set that came out before I think the deluxe one was the one that came out first, and I can't remember what the deluxe one had. I never opened mine, but it probably had a bunch of stuff that goes on the backpack, but that stuff is not with this one, so it kind of gets lost in translation. He comes with a figure stand, which is very cool. I appreciate the figure stand a lot. Some of these guys are not easy to stand. You see I had to tweak Buzzer leaning back and Ripper's leaning back too. Torch holds his position really well, even without anything holding him up. The gauntlets on Zartan are really cool. The straps around his arms, the colors on the pants and the ascot, the Dreadnok logo on his belt, very cool. The boots look like they're steel, man, like they're steel-toed, and like, you know, if you put that up against a hot pipe of the swamp skier, you wouldn't get burned. He has these things, kind of pauldron-like things that he had with the original. The original, I think they came off. I think these came off and the chest plate came off. There's a lot of stuff that came off on the original. I didn't need any of that stuff to come off on this one. It just looks amazing. That's Zartan. I'm going to push him back over here. Ripper, they tried to make so that his teeth were a little bit sharp. They're sharp on the package, but it doesn't translate real well to kind of a close-up of him. Yeah, his teeth look pretty normal, but on the package, they're sharp like a vampire's. Okay, not sharp like a vampire. I guess I thought they were sharpened, but when I get a better look, they're sort of damaged. So Ripper has the sunglasses that come off, like Randy Macho Man Savage. Torch is the only one that has the glasses more or less permanently on. I do wish that the glasses had been permanent on Ripper, but I imagine that for people who take photos, this is a more exciting possibility because he could be holding his sunglasses or pulling down his sunglasses to look at something like a cool motorcycle or something. He's got tattoos, which the original didn't have. It just makes sense that some of the Dreadnoks would be tatted up. It makes sense that that would be Ripper. He's got the chain that goes from his belt to his belt, because that's how you do it. He's got a gun that has a knife attached to it, which isn't dissimilar from the laser rifle that he has with the blade on it also. So that's a really cool touch, because I mean, if he has a laser rifle with an axe on it, why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't the man? Words are tough. Why wouldn't his gun have a knife on it? And he has this thing. It's like the Jaws of Life. I don't know what it's called. Maybe it's just called the Jaws of Life, but it's literally to rip something apart to get to something, and it's life-saving. It's a thing that, you know, the articulation is great. There's a lot of posing possibilities on there, lots of stuff that you can do, and it's articulated so that it's on a gear, so that you move one end, the other end moves equal, so you don't have to worry about sort of it looking good in different positions, or one thing getting out of position and the other thing staying put and then it looking weird. This handle is adjustable to adjust his grip in it. He grips the handle pretty good. Wish there was like a little flame effect that came out of the back of this, like energy was just coming out of the back. That would be very cool. But the laser rifle itself, the knife is just the business. It's brass knuckles plus a knife. You can see the brass knuckles there. And I put that in this way so that the handle was on the inside of him and not on the outside where it could interrupt the articulation. He's got the grenades. Super cool spiky arms. Spiky gold armband. There's the tattoos. Man, he's got cool boots too. He's got a boot swivel, which the others don't have. They have the regular articulation, but maybe Buzzer does. I'll check and see if Buzzer does. I can't remember offhand. Spikes on there, and he's got a little place. You have to line it up exactly because the peg is kind of squared off. So you have to have it at a certain angle for it to go, otherwise it doesn't go. But this is basically a G.I. Joe laser rifle. If you took this off and it was just all one piece, that's a laser rifle from the cartoon. Do you see that? It's the laser rifle from the cartoon. G.I. Joe. I guess I didn't need to sing that part, but I dropped the clip, so I wanted to stall while I retrieve that and put that back in. But it's exactly like the thing that they gave us for the 3 3/4 action figure back in 1985. It's very cool. And I like that the blade is differently colored from the rest of it. Differentiates it. It's super cool. So Ripper is just an amazing figure. Just an amazingly aggressive sculpt with just a lot of stuff. Razor blades for earrings. Or just ear ring singular. And he's got the mohawk like he's Mr. T. But he is Mr. Ripper. Maybe his first name is Jack. Get it? I don't know if that played well. Okay. So I'm going to stand him back up. And that is Ripper. And now that he's not holding anything, he can stand straight up. Buzzer was the first Dreadnok. And I say that with all the, the love and respect in my heart for everybody who created G.I. Joe cartoons and comic books. But this was the first Dreadnok to me. And it wasn't until, when this came out, it was like, what's a Dreadnok? And then they mentioned Zartan. I'm like, I didn't know he was a Dreadnok. So I didn't really know. I was all of, 11? I don't know. 11. Yeah, I was all of 11 when Zartan came out. I was 12 when Buzzer came out. So, I don't know, it was in that year. So I was 11 or 12 that year. So I didn't know, and all I had to go by was the file cards. And I don't know if the comic books got released in 1984. I should have done that research. Let's say that they did. Then I probably knew a little bit more about this character through the comic book, because I was a voracious reader of that comic book. Loved the G.I. Joe comic books. Let's get into the figure. Let's not talk about the comics anymore. So, Buzzer's got a couple of, I wouldn't say problems. I wouldn't say opportunities either. I hate people who are just like, let's call it an opportunity. Yeah, let's not. His goggles are loose. His weapons are real flimsy. The chainsaw is really cool, but it's just really, it's that weird flexy material that's kind of garbage. The baseball bat thing is big enough, yeah, but it's made of that same flimsy material. And if they gave and I don't know what the chain is called with the blade on the end, but if they, sprung a little bit maybe for real chain or something, that would have been cool, or at least given us some material that holds its shape so that it looks like he's swinging it, or you could get into a position where it looked like it was traveling, with some momentum. That'd be cool. Look at that. It just came out of the package like that. There was no cardboard. There was cardboard around the laser rifle with the axe for Ripper, but no cardboard around the chainsaw. So the chainsaw was just kind of bent up. It is cool. Super cool. It's weighty here. It's hefty. And maybe they made this as light as possible so that he wouldn't tip over, but bad news, he tips over. So you gotta pose him way back like that, or I did. Even with his regular ones, I said, man, with the chainsaw, I don't know if that's gonna hold up. I probably should have tried to pose it. You see the goggles fall right off, but he is most likely to be voted Shawn Michaels impersonator. Oh, you can pose him a little... Ah, you can't. Okay. I was like, you could pose him a little down, like he's peering over his glasses, but I'm going to take the glasses off. They don't stay on anyway. He's got an upper body like Duke. He's just the little metals are kind of reminiscent of Duke. Got the butterfly joints. It's very cool. The ponytail isn't like Scarlet's, where the ponytail moves. This one's just permanently glued in. It would have been nice to have a ponytail with some freedom to it, but that's cool. You know, I would trade it for a more solid chainsaw. He's got a cool Dreadnok tattoo. It's not a Dreadnok specific tattoo, but he's got the logo on his belt. I don't know. I think just skulls and things are their logo. I don't really know if they've formalized it. I don't think they have like an HR or anything. So, and he's got the knife, little knife for some reason. He's got the pistol with the tape around it, around the handle. Just cool. The blue jeans look really nice on him. They're faded, which sort of matches with the rest of them. The Dreadnoks and jeans are very cool. The dark blue looks really good with Ripper's dark green camouflage pattern, and that medium blue on Torch looks amazing with the black. So I think they did a really good job with the jeans and differentiating them and not making them wear the same jeans. Although, you know, let's face it, they probably rob all the same stores, so they probably have access to the same pants and things. So Buzzard does indeed have a boot swivel. I promised I would check that, and I did not forget. Last, but certainly not least interesting, is Torch. From the flamethrower with the skulls and the flames sort of coming out, sort of the excess flame shooting here, and the flame effects, to the tattoos, and just the sculpt and the hair and the bandana, the mutton chops, just everything. This is exactly what you'd want from Torch. He's got the chains on his jacket. He's got studs here that go all the way down throughout the figure, throughout the back. Let me take off the backpack so you can see. They go right down to the hole. Let me take the torch out of his hand. This is what the torch looks like without any effects on it. Just a straight up terror. And this could be the torch just in neutral position, but they do come with, it does come with a little bit of a fire effect that you can put on the nozzle to make it look like a regular flamethrower, where, you know, even idle, it's got a little bit of flame going. I don't think the flames don't come out of the skull, so that's more or less permanent. So you can add that to it. It gives it a little bit of just a cool effect, like everything is just leaking out of this thing, and it's ready to blast. It also has a more sort of fireball fire effect. We can make it look like that. This is more of the just a gout of fire where he's just lighting a bunch of stuff on fire, but this is just concentrated at a target. This is more kind of a strafe spray. The jacket is super cool. It's got the little straps. I'm sure the straps come off. You could probably take the jacket off. I don't know. I don't want to unclip anything. I'd never get that back together. But he's got the necklace that I'm sure you could take off. The choker, I'm not sure. The choker doesn't move, so no. The thing around his bicep with the spikes is super cool, but that doesn't come off. The chains sort of rotate around his hand. You could probably take those off if you wanted to, but God, why would you want to? They're so cool. You could put the chain. I guess you could put the chains around like Buzzer's hands or something. You can see the tattoos better and everything else. He's just got a straight skull logo on his belt, so probably not a Dreadnok logo or anything. But the boots are really cool. Just these leather biker boots. The whole figure screams that he's a biker. And he's got the boots to prove it. Just really cool boots. He just looks the part of kind of a Hell's Angel. Just a really tough, just completely, just a man's man. I didn't know how to end that sentence. So it's like, yeah, you get it. He looks like the absolute outlaw in every movie where you're like, that's definitely the bad guy. And that is the Dreadnoks. Zartan, Ripper, Buzzer, and Torch. I had a lot of fun taking them out, playing with them, and reconnecting with that 11, 12-year-old me who loved playing with these figures. Now as an adult, I'm super into collecting them and displaying them and sort of, just enjoying them. But this is as close to playing with them as I get, but it was really cool. I'm so glad they came out with the classic Zartan, and I'm so glad the G.I. Joe Classified series now sort of skews mostly toward those 1984 to 1990 figures, unless they're trying to make big changes. I like that they're leaning in to the best of what we had and adding just really amazing flourishes to it. These figures are all amazing. I like them a lot. I gave Buzzer a bad time. I get that, but I like him, and I'm looking forward to seeing I'm looking forward to what Gridiron Studios has for Buzzer. I know there's got to be a loadout. I know there's got to be a loadout that just, the stuff that Gridiron puts out is so tough you could probably kill an intruder with it in real life. But until next time, that was a weird thing to say. Don't kill anybody with Gridiron Studios products. They're hard and they're completely solid, but please don't commit bad crimes. Anywho, until next time, enjoy your toys.